members of Parliament and by extension the people of St. Martin for reappointing me as Ombudsman of St. Martin for another term in accordance with Article 2 of the National Ordinance Ombudsman. Thank you for your trust in me to continue to assist you, Parliament, in your supervisory role over government. My team and I, we will continue to work with dedication and integrity to ensure that the voice and the perspective of the people are heard and integrated into the actions and policies of government. I also want to take this opportunity, Madam Chair, to publicly thank Mr. Randolph Doggins, who served as Secretary General for the past 10 years, for his infallible contribution to the institution of the Ombudsman and also to me personally. And we wish him much success and fulfillment in his new role as member of the Council of State of the Kingdom of St. Martin. Thank you. Our format for the presentation of our year report will be, I will give the general overview and concerns, and the legal advisor, Ms. Isira Cecilia, will give the statistics on the complaints that were handled, and they'll close with a financial report and the future of the institution. The year 2024 was yet another period marked by political instability for our young nation, having undergone 2 parliamentary elections, first in February and again in August. This instability had tangible consequences for the work of the Ombudsman. Notably, the number of complaints filed significantly, with nearly 100 fewer submissions compared to 2023. The decline reflects a broader public reluctance to engage during times of governmental uncertainty. Many citizens hesitate to file complaints on the interim governments, preferring instead to wait for a fully formed administration. The political composition of the new government plays a role in their decision forward. Such period stability not only reduce new complaints, but also affect ongoing investigations. While government operations are expected to continue uninterrupted, responses, inquiries, and requests often slow down or cease altogether, particularly within ministries that have historically been unresponsive. In these cases, files were placed on hold rather than closed, in the hope that answers or solutions would eventually be forthcoming. This reality is particularly evident within the Ministry of Romi, which has consistently recorded the highest number of complaints from all ministries since 2019. Unfortunately, many of these cases with final reports lacking substantive responses from the ministry. Complaints represent more than just documents. They are real individuals facing genuine issues and concerns. Failing to respond constitutes a disservice to the public. The Ombudsman observes that these nuances do not stem solely from administrative unwillingness. Rather, they often highlight an impotence rooted in lack of resources. All ministries are grappling with insufficient human and financial capital, but the effects are particularly pronounced within the Ministry of Romi. While these challenges are formidable, they also serve as a call to action for the government to reassess its commitment to serving the citizens of St. Martin more effectively. It is crucial that steps are taken to address the underlying issues, improve the responsiveness of the administration. Special attention must be given to effective communication with the general public and the need to take action once violations are identified. Communication with the ministry has improved after several meetings held in 2024 and also this year. And the Ombudsman is looking forward to receiving responses from the various departments, especially with the recent appointment of a new complaint liaison. Since 2022, the Ombudsman has requested Parliament to ensure that government, particularly the Ministry of Romi, establish a clear policy for the allocation of domain land in accordance with the principles outlined in the Didam arrest. However, no comprehensive policy has been implemented to date, and the Ombudsman continues to receive complaints and inquiries about the issuing of government land. It is therefore essential that government adopt such a policy without delay, in line with good governance. The Ombudsman once again calls on Parliament to address this matter urgently, as it remains of great public interest. In the meantime, the Ministry is encouraged to issue a standard letter to affected persons and those requesting the land, explaining the impact of the Didam arrest, the Didam verdict, and the current status of the new policy. Ministry of Justice, the Ombudsman remains concerned about the ongoing backlog and lengthy processing times for residents' permit applications and decisions on objections. Some cases surpass a year. The Ombudsman further emphasizes the need for the police force of St. Martin, KPSM, to have a clear and transparent complaint procedure to ensure fairness, objectivity, and accountability. Currently, KPSM's complaint procedures are unclear to both the public and even to KPSM staff members. Citizens often face difficulty navigating the process, and the newly established Complaints Handling Committee appears to be non-operational. The Ombudsman has also noted that KPSM's online complaints handling system has remained inactive. The Ombudsman therefore urges that these matters receive urgent attention.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah. Your social and health insurances.
24/7 TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com, SXM Daily News, PBS NewsHour, Now You Know, Com programs, documentary, entertainment, sports events, Saturday children's hours, religion programs, and movies. Click on SXM TV broadcast to see your favorite programs.
St. Martin, as heavy rain falls across our region, we urge all residents and visitors to exercise caution and stay alert. Here are the areas prone to street flooding, flash floods, and/or rock slides. Avoid these locations until water levels subside. Ateelage Road Roundabout, Cul-de-sac. Arch Road, Sucker Garden. Beacon Hill Road, Simpson Bay. Ateelage Road, Border Monument, Belvedere, Lower Princess Quarter. Billy Folly Road, Cole Bay. Emma Plain, Phillipsburg. L.B. Scott Road, Cul-de-sac. Rhine Road, Lowlands. Welhalaken Road, Low K Roundabout, Cahill, Little Bay. Well Road, Wellington Road, and Orange Grove Road, Cole Bay. Yancho Rousquin Boulevard, Point Blanche, and Sakersgut Road, Cul-de-sac. Remember, safety comes first. Let's work together to keep our community safe. This public service announcement is brought to you by the Department of Communication.
Supporting sustainable development. The SER's mission is to contribute to St. Martin's focusing on areas such as economic diversification, labor market, labor market development, healthcare, education, and environmental sustainability. Solicited and unsolicited advices is how the SER functions. With this in mind, Madam Chair Lady, I'd like the SER to give me their honest opinion to the environment, the investment environment on St. Martin, seeing what is taking place right now with a case of 92 million and a minister, well, the husband of a minister of TIAT that is responsible for exactly where this problem started or is. So I'd like the SER's opinion on that, because, Madam Chair Lady, I think, and speaking to foreign investors, they keep asking me the same questions. How can this be possible? Anywhere else in the world, this minister would have literally stepped down. And this is nothing new. It has happened before. In 2010, the then Minister of VSR, within 2 months, a case was called, and she did the honorable thing and stepped down. And most of us even forgot that, because it happened the way it should have happened. Madam Chair Lady, this is not a personal attack, but this is placing country before self. If we want to, at any point, be able to be taken serious in the kingdom or anywhere else in the world, we need to make sure that our own house is clean. And if things are not right, they need to be made right. I will be requesting a public meeting on this topic.
In terms of the advices, so you mentioned, and I wasn't too clear on what you were saying then. So you had the SAHA, you had the visitors tax, you had the amendment to the decree passenger transport. You had a few advices, I believe in 2024, that were given by government. And in your report, you mentioned that all of these will be finalized and published by 2025. But I'm not too clear on which ones were finalized and published, because I didn't get to go through all of them. So Out of those that you mentioned in 2024 that will be finished and published in 2025, which ones were finished, finalized, and published? And if they weren't, where are we now in that timeline? So what is the expected timeline on the finalization and the publishing of these reports?
In the presentation, it was mentioned about the board renewal in 2026, and I just wanted to know by when this has to happen. So if it's earlier in the year or when, because we are already in the last quarter of 2025. So I would like to know by when this new board has to be put in place. And also something that has to do with what the colleagues before me spoke about. I just wanted to know your current advices that you have. I know some advices are more in detailed than others, are more is a bigger project, but just what is your current average time to process an advice now? And then I have another question, just following the news recently. The Employer Council of St. Martin is also members with y'all in the SER. So they have spoken out a lot about GDP and statistics in St. Martin, and I wanted to know from the SER itself, how is your working relationship or your access to statistics, our national statistics? How are you experiencing that? And I don't know, this is up to you if you would like to say anything about what you think about the calculations that the Employers Council mentioned about the GDP, if you have an opinion about those calculations.
The question posed by MP La Cruz, the SER's opinion on the current investment climate regarding the environmental investment of the 92 million. Madam Chair Lady, through you, this question is of for the SER is of a political nature, which the government and essentially the Parliament, the SER believes should go over. Question number 2 from the MP, the SER's opinion on the statement of the Honorable Prime Minister. At this moment, Madam Chair Lady, the SER has no opinion. I think it is important to go back and caucus with the members of the board with regards to the remarks made and also the Secretariat, and to formulate a response with regards to the comments made by the Honorable Prime Minister. Then to the questions asked by MP Webster, what with regards to the board renewal for 2026, when does the board has to be installed? MP Webster, the board for the SER has to be installed by May 1st, 2026. The subsequent question from MP Webster, the current average time to process an advice. Currently, MP Webster, through you, Madam Chair Lady, there's no average time to process an advice. Each advice request is different, and depending on its complexity, requires additional time. I think it's important for me to mention as well, however the SG will elaborate on that, a challenge that the SER has faced throughout the years as it pertains to advising both government and Parliament is the aspect of the lack of data. So that also, as it pertains to advising both government and Parliament, data forms a challenge. And that also, I won't say cause delay, Madam Chair Lady, but also causes that some advices may take longer than others.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXV, yeah, your social health insurances.
24/7 TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com. SXM Daily News.
Regarding the crime fund, fines have to be collected within 5 years, otherwise they have to be written off. From 2017 to 2022, I know that there was 1.8 million outstanding still to be collected to go to the crime fund. And then the prosecutor's office managed to collect some 30 or 40,000. So there's a lot of money out there that's not collected, and every year then it is written off. So what are the plans to improve that?
When it comes to a formal response to the crime fund, the procedure for that, of course, is that report is also accompanied by a response from the ministry and is submitted to Parliament. But I think in a general terms, I also want to say, we get a lot of reports and recommendations as a ministry, and it's where we're asking a very small group of people with very limited resources to do all of these things. And, and I think we're trying to set priorities as a ministry as well. And of course, we would all love to see, it's impossible for the ministry to build a new completely reform our detention sector. Oh, also MLC, there's a report about MLC from some months ago. There's the yearly report from the council. Now there's a crime fund report. And at some point we need to set priorities too and decide, how do we deal with these things? And I think that our priorities and reality shift as well. I came in here thinking, oh, let's fix the crime fund. And of course, then you have more urgent issues constantly that also require the attention of the ministry. So we're trying to find, how can we maybe write a project proposal to ask for technical assistance from the Netherlands in order to be able to help us perhaps with a FTE to be able to focus primarily on these crime fund concerns, because it's also a TWO project. But I think on the larger list of priorities, we're very much structured with, okay, what needs attention right now is the trends that we're seeing in crime, our prison situation, our detention situation. And that's where, unfortunately, we've had to shift more of our time and attention at the moment. And of course, I underline the importance of structuring that crime fund properly, and then the policies that go around that. And where we're starting on is, at least for 2026, making sure that there's a structured policy plan, because typically none is in accordance with the law as it should be. So we're working out a number of projects. We've actually spent most of this year working with a number of people to try to help them refine and define that project and scope the project out properly, so that it's not just, oh, here's some money, but that we really have a plan, and that is something that I feel okay to put money into. Because again, without all these mechanisms and safeguards around it, I need to be comfortable that I'm paying into something that I know is going to actually be run properly. So that's what we've spent most of this year doing. When it comes to the collection of fines, that's also a discussion we've been having with the prosecutor's office, because that also comes down to a capacity issue. It also comes down to an issue where many people in St. Martin are not living at the address that they are registered at. So many times you cannot find these individuals. They get served and that address is not. So there's also a disconnect where that's concerned. But one of the things as well, in Curacao, for example, there's an entire department within the prosecutor's office that all they do is collect fines. I think 4 people work there, 4 or 5 people, and it's called Pagabubut. And we've been looking at, is there room and structure to perhaps, but that would also mean that we would have to change the function book of the prosecutor's office. We would have to add FTEs to a certain department that would be tasked with just the collection of fines. And And from a business case perspective, those people would very quickly make their salaries back. So we see the logic in that. However, it's that procedural aspect of changing a function book, making those spaces and FTEs available, that will take longer, of course.